So here I understand you saying that no matter what happens to us as we get older, various faculties, physical, cognitive, and whatever, change. So they don't necessarily, you might lose some things but also gain some things. Am I correct in understanding 33 that way?
33 is about what actually happens functionally when you're on a plateau.
Okay.
So we know about, we have populations of fruit flies where we have a very good characterization of when they're aging and when they're on a plateau. And the sad thing about aging is that during the aging phase, essentially everything goes to hell. As I wouldn't need to remind anybody over the age of 50.
Yeah.
But when you get to the point in these experimental populations, when aging has stabilized, that pattern of everything going to hell, of course, stops. But it is not the case that everything then stabilizes. Instead, what appears to happen is that we revert to the kind of complexity that is characteristic of our developmental phase. During our developmental phase into our teen years as humans, we have things come and go. So, for example, and this is my favorite example, human infants across the board are very good at consuming and digesting milk before the age of 3 to 5 years. And then, depending on the population, you lose some of that capacity. Then, for example, young children have a tremendous facility at acquiring new languages, which starts to measurably fade as early as 8 to 10 years of age. So during the developmental phase, there's this complexity in terms of the changes in our functional attributes. Less complexity during aging. Essentially everything goes to hell, just minor exceptions. Then when you hit the late life plateau, the post-aging phase of our lives, the data show that some things stop deteriorating, some functional attributes. This is the work of my graduate student, Parveen Sharwastani. But other things continue to deteriorate. So it's not the case that when aging stops, suddenly everything, all physiological change stops. That is not the case. It would be nice if it were true, but it is not true.
I see. Yeah. And we can also improve in some way. I mean, my ability to synthesize is much better than it used to be.
Yeah, that's humans, I would say, actually, human cognitive capital accumulates with time. So, for example, particularly among those of moderate to high intelligence, basically our vocabulary steadily expands from the ages of approximately 20 to 60. I was actually reading an article on this morning. On the other hand, our ability to find our car keys and to remember the name of the person we just met, that steadily falls from 20 to 60, as I'm sure everybody who's 60 can attest. Unless you work very hard at developing tricks to overcome those failings, you're going to be plagued more and more with those problems.
Yeah.